Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of the Alsace, in that general Alsace-Lorraine.
And yeah.
That's the area that the French and Germans fought over.
Oh yeah, all the time.
From before Napoleon's time and all. The Gauls versus the Germans.
Always the Germans.
The Germans were, that's a German name, but we were sort of the aggressors.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we wanted to, but then, and that's why there were two world wars.
Yeah.
And the second one was, actually the reason for the second one was the same reason for the first one.
And
The
money.
Germans wanted more territory.
Yep. Yep.
And they didn't want to do it peacefully because it would not be given up peacefully.
Yep, I was just gonna say because people don't typically do that.
Yeah. The Germans have that aggressive quality.
Oh yeah, very aggressive.
Sometimes even bullheaded.
Yeah.
My father was a very strong man.
Yeah.
And I think I got some of his qualities of being a hard worker.
Yeah, we have to. Yours not going to be 20. I bet I don't have a pen. No, I don't have a pen. Darn it, I thought I did. Huh? Well, I was going to make it.
Well,
You have one.
I don't have one on me.
Here's one. Huh? What does he need? I want to write something down on here.
I know.
What's the name of the man that was no good? What else? Like, oh, Florida, what vegetables? Condescending, don't people was in condescending manner.
Yes, there is.
Can we give this back to the Yeah, just in the thrift store and yeah, walk around.
Can I sneak in past you there?
Sure.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Can't figure out how to open it. Usually it doesn't open it.
How are you? Sitting right behind us. The story of my life. We follow you. Good man.
Thanks for last evening again. We enjoyed that.
You said vitamin, but I don't like Oh, okay. These dumb bastards. Hi, how are you? Hi. I'm fine, how are you?
George Ferris. Yeah. Did you see his son passed away?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's in Friday. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
His son had remarried Harold Musser. Very Scottish church. And they were married 22 years. Yeah, yeah. He had the funeral is now Esther's doing. He was like 81 years old.
George anywhere.
Wow.
I think I told you before that Elwood used to say it's somewhere under the everything. More than 300, that's true. Yeah.
Twice the money you're on. I don't see my light.
Check 1, 2. There's some cheap seats up here for people looking for seats. They cost less than what you all pay.
Now the elevator is
Are not bad.
Kathleen, here's a seat. Here she is.
Good morning. Thanks for all coming out. Really appreciate your time, and we have a lot of things to share. So we'll get going here right away. Thank you for getting screened in and getting all that accomplished. I'm going to first read two verses, actually two sets of verses. The first is from Philippians 1:9-11. This is Paul talking to the church of Philippi. He says, "And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve what is excellent, and so be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God." Just one of the things I want to just share, these are certainly tough times, and particularly for many, many of our staff who are working a lot of extra time because we're short. The love that you show to them goes a long way. And I just want to encourage you if you can do that, because they are working very, very hard these days. But one other verse, and you've heard me say this one before, I think I'll continue to be saying this until hopefully COVID will end. But it's Romans 12:12, and it says, "Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer." And those are the days that we're in. Certainly we can rejoice because we have the hope of Christ and what we have looked forward to for eternal life. We are going through a tribulation. Probably this is not the worst tribulation that's going to happen before Christ comes, but it certainly is a tribulation. And I'm sure, like me, many of you are also constantly in prayer, not only for what's going on with COVID, but across our country and the world and so on and so forth. So we know we have the hope of Christ. So let's pray, shall we? Father, we're thankful for the opportunity that we have to gather today. But more than anything, we thank you for yourself. We thank you for what you've done for each one of us on the cross. And through faith in you, we can have eternal life. And how I praise you for that. Thank you for the opportunity again that we have to serve you in any capacity that we can. And may we be diligent in doing what we can for you and spreading your word. And as we go through this meeting and the reports that are given, Father, may you be glorified through it all. And we just will give you thanks and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. So we'll have some of our regular reports, Marlene, Jessica, Tiffany, Kelly, Dave, and we'll go on from there. So, Marlene, watch all the cords up here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we've had a busy fall in marketing, as many of you are aware. We have some new residents who've moved in since our last forum. Wayne and Nancy Yarnell, are you here this morning? Okay, they moved into 612 Elizabeth. Cap and Elaine Bombach have moved from their cottage to 220 Hamilton. Cap and Elaine, are you here this morning? Everyone's sleeping. Michael and Jean Kunzen Kessler are moving into 201 Roar next Tuesday, the 23rd, and then Roar will be filled. Betty Greider, who lives right next door in Nisley at 208, has moved there. And her neighbor, Donna Wolfert, will be moving into 209, I think either tomorrow or Wednesday. She's coming from Georgia. And so we're thankful for her coming. Walter and Cora Birch have relocated from their temporary abode at 507. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They were at 610 Frost, and they have moved to 507 Bethany. Are they here this morning? Everybody is sleeping. Either that or they're meeting for breakfast somewhere. And then Henry and Millie Buckwalter. Yay! Okay, they're here this morning. You weren't invited to breakfast, I'm sorry. They are temporarily located at 610 Frost, and then they'll be moving to 619 Glover, and that should happen by the middle of December. And finally, Al and Barbara Cott. They have moved from their cottage down on the corner of Fellowship and Friendship, and they have moved to 103 Cathedral Hall. Barbara, now are you here? Yes, they're over here this morning. You weren't invited either. Okay. Then we have Donna Wolfert that I did mention. Strange things are happening. I talked about the Goods and Kesslers. We have David Schuler, who is moving into 310 Hamilton. That will be on January the 23rd. And Kyoko Yoshi Muro. Say that right, Marlene. And she'll be moving into 110 Cathedral Hall, and that also will happen about the middle of December. The open units that I am now marketing are 590F Garden Apartment. I have someone coming in to look at that. And 623 Frost Lane, which is a one-bedroom cottage, which we are looking to kind of redesign that a little bit. So then as soon as that one gets ready, then I'll be marketing that. Other than that, I know we have some cottages and some apartments in the wind, but I don't have them yet, so I can't say that they are available. So we're down to 2 units that I am marketing. And we are also working on on Friendship Avenue for the Groffs who are coming in. That will be later on in the spring, early summer, till we get that finished. So other than that, does anyone have any questions for marketing? Interest in Calvary Homes still remains quite strong. We are getting applications almost on a weekly basis. People, of course, want in now, and they have to go on the wait list, which I know is disappointing for some people when they're ready, and then they're told that there are wait lists. But almost all of the communities in Lancaster County, I'm going to say all, have wait lists right now. So it is, the housing market was strong this year, as you all know. So people were taking advantage of that to move in, and we're going from there. So if no one else has any questions, we'll let it go at that.
How many days to
40.
Christmas?
Oh, 40.
So now we know how many days it is for Christmas. 40. So anyway, thank you. Have a good day.
Top of the line.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday.
Hi.
Good to see you all. Okay, I'm going to go over some events that are taking place in the next few months. Okay, so tomorrow, Indian Run Wildlife will be here. They'll be here at 2 p.m. here in Fellowship Hall, and they are bringing live animals. Please come. It is going to be so much fun. Women's Connecting will be here on Monday, Women's Connecting will take place on Monday, December 6th at 10:30 here in Fellowship Hall. Guest speaker and special feature will be Sharon Huckle. The Matt Daniel Band will be here on Thursday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. in Fellowship Hall. They are actually from New York. Really, really, really awesome band. They transform the musical experience by giving the listener more ways to relate to and understand the music, as well as breaking the barrier between the artists and the audience, making the performance a more personal and interactive experience. They are on YouTube if you're interested in checking them out before they come here. Transportation will be provided to see Christmas lights at the Hers Factory on Wednesday, December 8th. The bus will leave the front entrance at 6 p.m. There's no cost to that. We will also provide transportation on Sunday, December 12th at 5:30 p.m. to see carols with the Heidelberger Brass at Westminster Presbyterian Church, and this is also a free event. Servant Stage, that's one of our favorites here at Calvary Homes, will be here to perform Joy to the World on Thursday, December 16th at 2 p.m., and that will be here in Fellowship Hall as well. And ICE, which stands for In Christ Eternally, will be here to perform in Fellowship Hall on Thursday, January 6th at 2 p.m. They have actually performed the national anthem a few years ago at an NFL game. They are also on YouTube if you're interested in looking them up. Nick Desanto, also known as the One Man Band, probably a lot of you have heard of him. He's going to be here to perform on Thursday, January 27th at 2 p.m. here in Fellowship Hall. And then students of Jocelyn Crosby will be here on Saturday, January 29th at 2 p.m. for a flute recital here in Fellowship Hall. I recently was given, let me start saying this. So we haven't had many residents signing up for the bus trips. We've actually canceled most of them. So somebody recently gave me a suggestion of coordinating bus trips that would be farther away, outside of Lancaster County, and that could increase the number of participants. So I've already have December's bus trip already planned, but 2022, I definitely would like some suggestions of where residents would like to go for the bus trips. Feel free to call me, email me, whatever works best. But definitely would like to see more participation with the bus trips so we don't have to continue to cancel them. And also just wanted to mention, you're going to see information coming out in the December news notes about if anybody would like to participate in the gift giving to a resident that resides in healthcare or personal care. So that information will be coming out very soon. And then Bob Fig asked if I would share the following in regards to Saturday Night Alive. This Saturday night, November 20th at 7 p.m., Brothers in Grace Quartet Southern Gospel Music, singing many of your beloved gospel hymns and choruses. On Saturday, December 11th, an old-fashioned Christmas celebration in music and photos. Travel back through time to Christmases past, from the first Christmas night in Bethlehem through Christmas celebrations over the years to the present day in Lancaster County. And then this one sounds really, really exciting. So they need more participants for the annual Saturday Night Alive talent show on January 22nd. I know, right? Sounds so much fun. If you'd like to share your talents, whether it's vocal or instrumental, music, poetry, or recitation, or even a little comedy, please sign up soon with Mrs. Nancy Fig. And I just want to end with, I wish you all a happy, happy Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas. Have a good day.
Good
Good morning.
Thank
Marlene, is this your?
Yes, if you want to bring it down, thank you.
All right. Can anybody tell me what time of year it is?
Medicare sign up day.
Yes, it's Medicare open enrollment. So now's the time if you want to look at your prescription plan through Part D, or if you have an Advantage plan and want to look at any of the other plans, you have the option to change. We have until December 7th to do any kind of changes. So if you are interested in wanting to look at your coverage, you can get a hold of me and we'll try to schedule an appointment. Please don't wait till the very last minute because it'll be hard for me to try to squeeze you in. But just give me a call and we'll see when we can get you on the schedule. And this is exciting news, I think. May 14th of 2022. That is the right date, right?
Yeah, sounds right.
Okay. We're gonna have spring fling. So I'm excited. I don't know if anybody else is excited. It's been 2 years since we've had the spring fling. So we have a meeting actually this afternoon to start planning things. So we're gonna hopefully have a really cool program for everybody. So there'll be more to come on that later. But if anybody would like to donate anything for the silent auction, we will be taking new or gently used items for the silent auction. You can get in contact with me. We'll take gift certificates and gift cards as well. I went through everything that I had from 2 years ago, and believe it or not, I have 49 items already that we can still use that are still good. So I feel like we have a really good head start on the silent auction. And that part of it's going to be in Creighton Chapel, so we'll have a lot of room to spread out, so we can have a really, really big silent auction. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention, if anybody's going to be having surgery, or if you are admitted to the hospital for any reason, please let us know as soon as possible. Our beds in healthcare have been running very tight, as I'm sure most of you have heard. And we want to make sure that we're able to provide what you're going to need. So as soon as you know that you're going to have something done, please let me know. That way we can make sure we can anticipate that you're going to have a need going forward. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Ollie?
Could you include the alpacas when you plan that spring fling?
I think we have already talked about that, and Jessica Vertu was checking into that. But I'll mention that at our meeting today. Special request. Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I just have a couple of things to share this morning. A little reminder again on the resident portal. We have that up and running, which shows Cliff's video from Wednesday. So if you've got appointments on Wednesday, or you're out and about and you're unable to catch the video and you want to see it, you have 7 days from that day till we post the new video to go online and view it. So all I need you to do is email me your email address, and then I'll send an email back with the login and password. If by chance you don't have email or internet, let me know. Give me a call, let me know, and we'll work out some other details to get that information to you. Second, I kind of threw a little confusion out there with the recycling. We had received a letter from Eagle Disposal telling us that recycling would be picked up. This is for cottage residents, that the recycling would be picked up every other week. And when I called them to find out if they would give us larger bins for some of the residents because of, the large amount of recycling that would build up over the 2-week period, they offered to come back and say that they would pick up every week. So just a reminder, trash and recycling will be picked up every Friday. Now, they did ask again that you please have it out the night before. They are working on rescheduling, and they may be coming fairly early in the morning. We're talking maybe like 4 or 5 a.m. So they ask that you get your trash out Thursday evening, so when they come through, they'll pick it up. Now, we have on occasion had incidents where they may have picked up your neighbors and then didn't get yours, and I'm not sure why. But if that happens, give me a call and we'll have them swing by. But keep in mind that if you don't have it out and they get everyone else, I can't guarantee that they will come back and pick up. So we do try, and they've been very accommodating and, working through, the same issue with being short-staffed. But they do ask that we have it out the night before, if you could do that. And then lastly, the new gleanings is coming out this week. It is at the printers. I'm just waiting for that to come in, and as soon as it does, we'll get that out to you, as well as a new resident directory. So if you have any changes or any updates, I got a couple of changes of email addresses. Give me a call or send me an email, and I'll make those changes. But the new resident directory will come out with the gleanings. So, are there any questions?
The friendship trash recycling that did not take place on Friday will take place this coming week or sometime during.
Well, it should be going on every Friday, so you didn't get picked up. Is anybody else here on friendship that you guys didn't get picked up? Okay. If you could let me know that day, or if you think about it, if someone's home and you realize, just give me a call, because what I do is I directly call the manager there, and then I work with Dave, and I try and keep everybody informed. But try and let me know on Friday, and then I'll give them a call before they close for the day, because they actually close up fairly early because they start early. So sometimes it's hard to get a hold of someone. But I will let them know today that it was not picked up, and I'll see if they're able to do it. But you'll get it this Friday. I would say yes, definitely put it out for this Friday. Okay? Any other questions? All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and blessings to you all. Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
So just want to comment on a few items. Just thinking about the Friendship Drive thing and the trash, it's very possible, I'm thinking, that, like a lot of places, they have newer drivers and drivers that aren't familiar, and it's probably not as obvious to them that those houses out on Friendship are part of our community. Maybe, I don't know. Kelly, I'm sure, will get it straightened away. But yeah, put that out this Friday and get that stuff picked up. Just want to comment that I think everyone is aware that certainly we have had challenges in a number of areas relative to staffing. Probably more recently, over the last couple months, maintenance has been hit pretty hard with short staffing. I hate to even talk about it, but it's a reality. So we've had what I'll call triage work orders as a result. So if you have work orders that haven't been addressed, they're in the queue, so to speak. But if if they haven't been addressed, they're probably something that is, at least in our estimation, not an urgent matter. But certainly, if you have situations, for instance, this time of the year, as we change to colder weather, we generally see glitches and things that come up relative to heating systems. So certainly, we want to know about those, and we want to know about anything that has to really be addressed as soon as possible. We'd like to know about them as soon as possible on any given day. I am pleased to be able to say that while we've we've basically been running maintenance with one full-time gentleman and Steve Whistler sharing the work orders along with another young man that can do some basic stuff that we have on board. But between Garrett and Steve and I took it 1 week, we've been covering the on-call on the weekends and through the week. It's been pretty challenging. But as of Wednesday, we have 2 new maintenance guys coming on board. And then about a week or so later, we have a third we've hired. So we've hired 3 new maintenance guys. 2 of the 3 have previous work experience specifically in a retirement community environment. So that's helpful. But with that said, it certainly will take them a while to know and understand and acclimate to our particular campus and our environment. I know when I first came here, it took me a couple weeks just to figure out where everything was, and I'm still finding new things now and then. So I guess what I would say is I appreciate your patience and endurance with us in this area, but as things stay course, it's looking great in the future. We have 3 new maintenance guys coming on board, and we also have prospects of a new full-time in-house painter that will hopefully be coming on board. We have some of the very same challenging issues in our dietary department. We're down the number of cooks, and we're getting very few. And at this point, we're getting very few applicants. And the reality is, based on experience, as you go into the holiday season, it becomes even more difficult to hire folks. As people don't tend to want to entertain or do much as close to the holiday. So we have a number of core staff who have worked extra hours, extra shifts to ease off, and there are people from other departments. Certainly you've probably seen Kelly, who's become a master at the cafe and working there. So we appreciate that, and we certainly are appreciative of all those who have pitched in. And again, for a lot of the folks, it's meant we haven't had some of the ability to get meals that we may have had in the past. We certainly hope as COVID winds down, as we are able to improve our staff, we'll get back to normal. I hope it's not a new normal. I hope we get back to normal. I'm not much interested in new normals. Most of the new normals are already up second wrong direction in my estimation. So, but maybe I'm just thinking older. Grounds has certainly got into joining leaf mulching removal in various areas. The rest is certainly slowing down. What I think was a fairly long season. Seems to me like the leaves had a little longer this year than normal. But they're coming down now, and we're working on the leaves. We've done some bush trimming, and they will continue to do that. We operated pretty much the whole season. We usually have a seasonal grounds person, but we really didn't have that this year. Just weren't able to find somebody who had a person that lasted 1 week, I think. But other than that, we haven't been able to find somebody suitable. But I think as the grounds continues to work through the fall here with the leaves and trees, trimming the bushes, and there are some trees we're looking to find some trimming as well. I just want to mention the bad word, which is snow. Which I've determined we're not going to have any of this year. So don't worry about it, it's not happening. But in all seriousness, certainly snow can happen, will happen in some amounts. I hope it's small this year. I've heard reports of a light winter, but I haven't heard what the caterpillars are saying or anything. I don't know if anybody else has of the almanac or what.
I found one the other week, and it had a little bit of black on the end, mainly brown, so that's a good thing, right?
That's how I'm going to take it, yeah. So just as a reminder, as we do snow, if it comes to it, please, if you have mats and things like that out, if it comes to we need to use snow blowers or something, please take your mats up and so forth. we find that mats and snow blowers have a problem with each other, and so they tend to create issues. So those types of things, if you have things out, if it's what happened, you have some people in the past, we've also seen snow blowers interact with Christmas lights wiring that doesn't go well, and so just be aware of those things. But we are not looking forward to having to do a lot of snow removal, but if we have to do it, we will. As you can imagine, with 3 new maintenance guys, that's going to be a learning process as well this year with how that goes. A number of these projects have been mentioned already. Cathedral Hall, one of the 2 apartments was moved into, and those folks are here. I see them. I think they're happy. Yep, they're shaking their heads. Good. Yeah, I appreciate that. There's another apartment that's going to be moved into in December, as Marlene referenced. But the sprinkler system is still in progress, and the sprinkler system will continue to be in progress for a little while. Some of it is, I think, is manpower issues, but some of it is, like you hear about everything, is what I'm told by the gentleman is getting the main components for the riser that controls the system. There are pieces that they're having trouble getting sourcing. And I don't know if anybody saw that program last evening about all the ships. There was one on last night, all the ships off of the coast of Los Angeles there, and the problems with the port. We have a lot we can improve on our systems right now in this country in terms of our supply chain. But be that as it may, the sprinkler system probably will not be completed. I'm thinking probably end of this calendar year into the first part of next year, depending on the availability of the components. The wood shop is getting real close to being completed. There's some exterior work that has to be done, finished work, as well as some things inside, but it's well on the way and very close to completion. And I think it looks really good as well if you ever get a chance to get in there. But we look forward to that being completed hopefully within the next month thereabouts. 406 Friendship is a property that was referenced where we'll be raising the existing home there, and we'll be building a new cottage on that property. That's going to start to get underway here in the next few weeks, and I'm not sure if it'll get tore down by the end of the calendar year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get started somewhere around the end of the year, first part of next year, to be taken down, and then they can start construction on the new building that will be there. That new building is slated to be completed in July of 22. So there continue to be lots of things going on behind the scenes. I certainly am appreciative of housekeepers and those who we've been down housekeepers, but right now we've got, I think, all our positions pretty much filled with people who are either here or coming on board shortly. But again, I just want to express my appreciation for your patience and for the staff that we have who are working hard. It's a very different time we're in. Again, I'm waiting to go back to normal. Thank you.
I forgot one thing. Most of you, or a lot of you, know Elena Keener, one of the other social workers here. She's still with us, but when you see her the next time, she's got a different name now. She's going to be Elena Martin. She got married on Saturday. So it's not a new staff person. It's the same Elena that was here before. She just has a different name. So let's bless her and her husband on their marriage. They're on their honeymoon right now, so we'll pray that they have a good time and that they're safe and she gets back here and she adjusts to being married.
Okay. First, I want to mention a few, I'll call more smaller items, but some of them are reminders. First of all, anybody visiting residents in our healthcare or personal care center whether you're in a cottage area or you're in-house, you must screen in order to go visit them. Okay, so screen in at the front lobby. We're still required because of where the community transmission rate is. We're still required to keep track of all that, and so we hope that you will do that. I know pretty much most cottages have been, but hadn't kept up on reminding those in the main buildings. If you're visiting, again, anybody in healthcare or personal care, you need to screen in and then screen out when you leave, okay? Just came out on Friday, Dean and I were talking, some new information about visitation in any nursing center. One of our concerns is they always come out with the stuff on Friday afternoon, and it hits the news, and then we're loaded with questions, and we don't even have time to, well, we've been reviewing it over the weekend. But essentially, visitation, scheduling, and so on has been lifted by CMS. CMS is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So we're pulling together all of our policies on this and what needs to happen. Screening does not stop. That's one thing that doesn't stop. But we are going to, there'll be more open visitation on a regular basis for those in our healthcare center, according to what CMS is telling us what we need to do. So I'll get more information out on Wednesday about what the visitation, what's all going on with that. But I do know a couple of things as I reviewed it. There's just a lot of ifs and whats scenarios. If someone's vaccinated, if they're not vaccinated, things like that. But we will be opening up more now where anybody who's been using our scheduling website will not need to do that anymore. So, but we'll get more information out to you on Wednesday. Just a reminder, this Friday we are participating in the eGive. That's Lancaster County's Giving Day. And so if anybody's interested, you can go on the eGive website and donate to us if you wish. Along with that, we do have an offer out to somebody to fulfill the Fund Development Director position we have open. Waiting for a few details from that person that they need to work through personally. Hoping for a December 1 start, but I'm not sure yet, but certainly be praying for a couple of details this person needs to take care of in order to start. Just a reminder in the cafe that there are to be no visitors being people who are not living here at Calvary Homes in the cafe at any time. In particular, especially when we have our personal care residents there, where we have a few more restrictions, still according to the Department of Human Services, but just a reminder on that. And again, a reminder that masks are still required. In fact, just on Friday, I had somebody ask me, when is this mask going to end? And the best information I can give you is, if you listen to me each week, I talk about the transmission rate or the positivity rate. Last week we were at 10 point something, I forget what it was. Masks will not be gone away with until we get below 5%. Okay, now that can fluctuate up and down. Lancaster County, it's still, actually the central Pennsylvania area is still quite high. I just went on the website this morning. Between Lancaster, Lebanon, Dauphin, Cumberland, Adams, and York counties, we're all above 10%. I forget which county, one of them was still 16%, which is very high. So that's the criteria we use in order concerning masks in our environment, in meetings like this and throughout the buildings here, okay? So just in case you're wondering, when is this ever going to end? For Dave, the regular normal, that's what's going to happen. So we monitor it every week. I announce whatever it is every week, and we'll just keep you updated on that. And when you are wearing masks, again, it should be over your nose and mouth. That's the best protection for everybody, not only yourself, but people that you are with. I want to talk just briefly about gifts. Calvary Homes on a regular basis, and this is the time of year our board will be reviewing gifts that we give out to Manheim Township, the Manheim Township Fire Company, and the Lancaster County Library. We give it to the library because their bookmobile comes here, and we want to support that. The fire department, some of our cottages on our campus are taxable, so we are paying taxes, but a good bit of our campus is not taxable, so we give that as a gift to do that, and again to the township as well. But just in case you get any solicitations from the fire department or the library, just to make you aware that we do give gifts, you are certainly welcome to do so. So that's up to you. Also, beginning in January, you'll get your ambulance dues put on your bill. And again, you'll get solicitations, mostly cottages will, but because they don't always know the address that is associated with Calvary Homes. Again, you do not have to give extra gifts besides the dues you pay. That's again, totally up to you. So just want to make you aware of that we try to be very faithful in what we provide for some of the township and county services that are provided for you all as residents. Something I want to just address quickly, just so you're aware, you heard Dave talk a lot about staff we need. Actually, we have probably a little over 20 positions, which is, in my whole career, we've never had this many at one time. But we have a serious concern coming up. There's nothing you can do other than pray. And that is, last week, the CMS did follow through with their mandate of anybody that works in a nursing home must be vaccinated or they're not allowed to work. We got all the information. The timeline was much quicker than I was hoping it would be. So anybody that is not vaccinated before, or at least having at least one shot before December the 4th, 4th or 5th? Yeah, 5th, thank you. Is not allowed to work here anywhere on our campus. And part of the situation is that CMS says that even if you're part of a retirement community like us, they don't use these words, but for those people who don't work directly or indirectly in the nursing center, but have someone going in there for purposes, they can come in contact with some of our other staff who don't fall under the CMS mandate. And so because of that, everybody, all of our team members must either be vaccinated or they can't work here, according to the federal government. We still have quite a few that have not received their vaccinations yet. Some are giving us some thought. Some are going through the process of exemptions. We've put into place where they can apply for a medical or a religious exemption. We've had almost a dozen team members already apply for some type of exemption. And so we have followed through on that. The majority of those have received exemptions. But then they must also follow through on, we still have yet to determine, but a regular testing process and always wearing masks. Well, say right now wearing masks doesn't matter. No, it doesn't, but hopefully we get the positivity rate below 5%. Most of us will not be wearing masks. But if they have not gotten the vaccine and have gotten an exemption, then they would have to wear a mask. So we continue to work through that. I looked at the numbers this morning. We're probably around 50 team members across all the different departments that are in the area of unvaccinated and what they're going to decide to do. If we even got half of those vaccinated, that's still a real problem besides the openings we have. So I'm just saying this to ask you to pray for wisdom and guidance, because this can be devastating. And I know Calvary Homes is not the only community that's dealing with this. I was on a Zoom call on Friday with all the other not-for-profit communities in the county, and we're all saying the same thing. So just to keep you updated as to what's going on here with that, and so it's not just a situation of not having team members at the present time, but it's also what's the future going to look like. And they're just, we don't know where everybody's gone that is no longer working. No, we'll just work through that. The woodworking shop, Dave mentioned about that. and I've appreciated the number of men that have been on the committee and helping that through. So one of the things, I want to just read this. Carl Hodges got this to me on Friday. I'll just read this, and then he's going to have some copies after the meeting if you're interested. It says, good news, the wood shop renovation program is nearly complete. Most of the machines and equipment have been delivered and now need to be assembled and installed. To accomplish this and plan for the future, we need your help. And it just says, please indicate your interest in the installation and or use of the wood shop by checking the appropriate boxes. And then there's a number of different boxes where you can help. They're back there in the round table, back in the my right-hand corner. If you're interested, or you just want to see what's going on there, if you can help in any way, that would be very much appreciated. And we can see about getting that going and trying to get finished up here with the wood shop. I just want to comment also on the what Dave talked about, 406 Friendship. Again, some people may be saying, why are you taking that down? That house is a split level house. When you walk in, you're on a floor, you got to go up 6 or 7 steps to another floor, you got to go up 6 or 7 steps to another floor. That many steps on a regular basis is not always good and conducive. We had tried to market it, didn't have much success. We have a couple that definitely want to get into this house that we are going to build, and so we are happy to be able to move forward with that. Just got a report from Manheim Township on the stormwater. We have a few things to correct there. We're contracting with E.G. Stolzfus builders who will build the cottage for us, and hope to get started building it in February. We've got some issues. As old as that house is, there's asbestos in it, so it has to be abated before it can be demolished. So just to give you information about why are we doing that at that particular cottage. I want to just make sure, does everybody have a disclosure statement? If you don't, can you raise your hand? Kelly can look back and make sure. Does everybody have a disclosure statement? Okay, I'm going to go through that. So this is updated every single year. All of you that have been here in November, it's a regular basis. Most of these changes are very standard as to what they are. But again, this is a document that we file with the Insurance Department of Pennsylvania. They regulate us as a continuing care retirement community. And so we provide this to them. We're also required to provide it to all of you as residents, our board, our corporation members. And so certainly this is the time we take to do that. And then to share with you the changes that have been made on this. And so I'm going to just quickly go through these. If you have any questions, please let me know. But on page 1, you'll see item I4, which is a description of Calvary Homes, all the buildings. This has been updated because of the changes we made in Cathedral Hall and a few other things that description has been changed. If you go also down to item number 7, current population, we're around 362. And then number 8, the fee structure. This is just an updated. We've always used a 1-bedroom apartment in Hamilton Nisley, the entrance fee and the monthly fee. If you go to page 2, the change there, item number 3 is the board of directors. There was one board member that went off and one came back on, all the way down towards the very, very bottom of the board listing. John Yoder has replaced Dave Hostetter. Dave's term was up, and we invited him to come on, and he has accepted that. Also, item Roman numeral number 6, description of property. This is redundant to page 1, but same changes were made for that. If you go to page 3 and 4, these are financial arrangements. Basically, this is where our entrance fees and monthly fees are presently for all of our facilities that we have here at Calvary Homes, independent living. On page 2, personal care and health care, pricing is all there. For that, if you go to page 5, it's a comparative schedule, basically showing what has happened over the past 5 years with all of our different rates in the throughout our community. If you go to page 6, Roman numeral number 10, there's an item described as reserve funding. Reserve funding is a calculation that our accountants do based on what the insurance department wants us to have in reserve. This is money that is not allowed to be touched by us in case we would have any financial issues. That money needs to always be available. And so according to the calculations that are being used, we have to have basically $857,000 set aside in case there's a problem. So we do have that. We meet the requirement of the insurance department. The next page is 7 through 13 are pages from our financial statement that we're required to put in. I'm going to come back to this because when I go through the financial review, I'm going to refer to a couple of pages in here, but they're there for you to be able to review. And then if you go to page 14, 14 is basically, this is our budget for the present year that we're in, that we required again to put forth to the insurance department. So these are just basically standard changes that happen each and every year. The numbers just change accordingly. And so I'm going to just stop there, just see if there's any questions concerning the disclosure statement. Okay. As I continue, again, just to share, this is our leadership team that we have, and I'm very appreciative of working with them each and every day. If you would ever like a copy of this, I would certainly be willing to provide it for you if you'd like to get to know who some of these people are. So I'm going to switch my slide here quickly to go over the financials. So just a minute. Okay, so I want to just quickly review some of these things, but again, if you have questions about this, I'm more than happy to answer them. If you go into your disclosure statement, and if you go to page number 9, the next 2 slides are actually there. I'm not sure which one is easier for you to read, but this slide right here is our asset slide, which basically at the top shows how much we have in cash at the end of June. Okay, this is a one-day snapshot because that's the end of our fiscal year. We had almost $700,000 in cash or cash equivalents, which could be investments and so on. This is also money at the time that we probably had from Health and Human Services, which is money that we got to help fund some of the COVID expenses that we had. And then we have accounts receivable, mostly from residents, what's due, and also from Medicare, Medicaid. And then down below, we have our benevolent care. And so our benevolent care funds are up around 2.6 million. We have some money set aside that, Eric, is that money, the 800,000, that's from federal monies given to us?
That's the reserve you referred to 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's a statutory reserve.
That's a statutory reserve. Thank you very much. Yeah. And then all the way down the bottom, it has other assets. We're involved with a captive insurance company, and that's our investment in that captive insurance company. And if we would ever leave the captive insurance company, we get that $100,000 back. This one is our liabilities. We have a current debt liability of about $480,000, but if you go down a little bit further where it says long-term debt, there's another $11.5 million. So if you add those together, we have about $12 million in debt. So in relationship to our assets, it's not a large percentage or a ratio as it's reviewed. We have some other liabilities there, such as accrued expenses and deferred grant revenue, which has to do with monies that has come in from the federal government to help us with COVID expenses. As you go further down, there's refundable entrance fees. Because of timing of where people are when they came in, there are still possibility of some refundable entrance fees. Typically doesn't happen. Down below is the 14 million is showing a liability of deferred entrance fees. Basically, again, that's entrance fees that have come in that we have to carry on the books, and we only earn them each month as each resident lives here. We don't get to earn all the money that is paid in by entrance fees. So we get to use the money, but we can't earn the money. And then split interest obligations, that's charitable gift annuities. Because we are a charitable organization and accept gifts, we have had a number of people who have taken out charitable gift annuities with us, and those are the balances left on those charitable gift annuities. And then there's some other net assets that are without restriction, the 8 million. So that makes up our liability, our liability side of our books, again, which is reflected in this page number 9. Okay. This is basically our operating statement. So if you were to go to page number 10, this is very. Let me just go up here. We had, this is our income expense sheet. So we had income of $14 million last fiscal year. We had expenses of $15,200,000. Obviously, that's a loss of about $2.7 million. Some of that is related to COVID. If I remember right, we probably have received in the neighborhood of $600,000 to $700,000 of federal and county monies, state, federal, and county monies to help us with COVID expenses. It could be payroll issues when we initially were having personnel do all the screening. If some of you remember that back March, April, May, June, July, and then we got the screening, the Active Shield downstairs, and did away with that. But we've also done a lot of expenses on personal protective equipment, masks, eye goggles, face masks, shields, gowns, gloves, all those things that we have had to purchase to make sure we continue to have enough. And then, so you can see operating loss income is about $12.2 million. We also, back in the early April of 2020, applied to the federal government small business for what was called a paycheck protection program. That just meant there was monies available. We weren't looking to lay people off because we didn't need to, but we were concerned as to what would happen with a marketing market as far as home sales, getting people in here to move in, not only to our independent living, where we were looking for entrance fees, but also personal care and nursing care. And thankfully, it did not, for us, it did not occur, but we still borrowed that money. We were able to get it forgiven, basically that we got to keep that almost $5 million in money. And so that helped us in our bottom line of, if we go down further, it showed after that about $185,000 of profit, so to speak. And then we were able to also move over almost $300,000, which was monies that we received from different government entities for COVID. So that gave us this year a net gain of $484,000. Okay, we feel very fortunate we ended there, and that this federal monies were available to us. So, but again, those federal monies can only be used for COVID expenses, not for general operating expenses. And that's what we had used it for. Certainly, it was a little bit of a turnaround from last year because of building part of COVID and there's a timing process of earning the money that we get from the federal government. So we didn't get to earn very much at all in fiscal year ending 2020, but we've got to earn a whole lot more in this fiscal year ending 2021. Okay. Just some quick pie charts. This shows where our revenue comes in. Just point these out. So the largest amount of revenue, which is this one right here, is what we get in from nursing. It's about 37% of $4.5 million. The second amount is the light green, which is independent living. Yes, independent living, which is about 25%. The yellow is personal care. That includes personal care, both personal care and garden view. 14% is money that is earned through independent living entrance fees. And then the other is just minor things like what we sales in the gift shop and in the cafe, stamps, a lot of minor things that brings in some revenue. And it really didn't change much from the year prior, which is on your right, other than the amounts, but the percentages pretty much stayed the same. Okay, this next one has to do with expenses, and this is by department. We have a variety of departments within Calvary Homes. The largest department of expenses is nursing. That's 3.9 million in this on the chart on your left, kind of the lighter lime green. And as we go around, personal care is about 10%. Again, most of these expense percentages are about the same. It's just that we have about $1.1 million more in expenses overall for the fiscal year compared to last year. So they were fairly consistent, but just everything went up. One of the major issues is wages. And that is really another difficult part in recruiting. When you see, if you're out and about, places like Target are hiring at $15 an hour. Somebody mentioned in our finance committee on Friday, they saw McDonald's hiring for $20 an hour. That's pretty competitive to us, let alone all the other nursing homes, retirement communities continue to review their wages, and they have a little bit deeper pockets than we do because they're a bit bigger, and they continue to look at how to increase their wages. So we're kind of in a wage war to a certain extent with a lot of other retirement communities, and we're trying to compete with that as well. So just to make you aware. The next slide is pretty much just expenses lumped together. So this green part here is wages. Our wages are $6.8 million, or about 45% of our budget. The next one down below that, kind of the bluish, is our benefits, and that's about $2 million, which makes up about 13%. So between wages and benefits, we're looking at 58% of our budget is based on all of our team members that here. Of course, we are a service-oriented organization in caregiving and providing services. The next green going up is just other expenses, and then depreciation in the yellow, and interest expense, which is 3% of our budget. So that just kind of lumps the expenses. And again, using the same numbers, about $1.1 million of expenses higher than the previous fiscal year. I'll go back into some other slides, but this is one our accountants put together. Nursing, of course, that's where the majority of our income, or the higher portion of our income, comes from. Census is always important. One of the things we're very thankful for is that our census actually went up last year by just 1%, but it went up. Most of the other nursing homes in the county have seen a significant decline. So one of our benefits is that we're smaller. With only having 45 beds, we're probably one of the smallest, if not the smallest, nursing center in the county. And we were able to keep those beds full. Now, we did have what we call a payer mix change. Basically, there's three different payments we get in. Private pay, those that pay the full amount.
Medicare for those that come in for rehab, we get reimbursement from Medicare for those residents, and then Medicaid, and Medicaid is for those residents that have basically run out of money. And if you look at the middle part of the bar, this one right here compared to last year, so private pay is the far left. A year ago, we were at 38%, and then last fiscal year, we went down to 25%. Our Medicare, which is on your far right, 6%, pretty much stayed the same. You see a significant change from 56% on the lower bar to 69% on the upper bar. That was the change in the people who were added on to getting paid by Medicaid, okay? For various reasons, people are living longer, just whatever it may be, more of our residents went on Medicaid this past fiscal year. And so that also provides less income than if they were either Medicare or private pay. Actually, a significant amount of income. The difference of our cost, and I'm saying that purposely, not what we charge, but our cost to what Medicaid pays us is about $125 a day per patient day. So that's a pretty significant, I'll say, loss that the federal and state governments don't reimburse us for the cost of caring for those on Medicaid. There's a big push, especially since COVID has hit so much, and I think we all personally have seen a rise in prices that we're trying to convince our state legislators that they need to help fund those that are on Medicaid much more than what they are presently. In fact, I really believe they have a duty to make sure they pay more to it, because it's getting to be very, very difficult financially to do. So just a couple other things, we have covenants with our bank that just basically means we're required to either keep so much cash on hand or keep so much income coming above expenses. Cash on hand, we're required to be 120 days cash on hand through the calculations they do. This year we were at 120. You can see last year we were at 152. So our cash was not as high this year as what it was last year. And then there's what they call a debt service ratio. That means for every dollar we spend, we are to take in $1.25. Okay. Again, every dollar we spend, we're to take in $1.25, according to the formula that's put together. This year we were at $2.52. So we're thankful that we were able to stay within our covenants with Orangetown Bank and just meeting what their requirements are as they work with us through these difficult times. And then one other thing, and then I'll go back to, I'll talk about some year-end stuff. This is information that comes from Fitch, which is an organization that kind of looks at how our retirement community is doing. There were a couple of things here I just wanted to just share with you as to what they look for as far as CCRCs go throughout the country. One of this is that there's a stable independent living unit occupancy. And we've seen that here, thankfully. As you heard from Marlene, she has just a couple of places that are open right now that we're trying to market, okay? If you go down to the third bullet, it says a healthy residential real estate market. Again, we're thankful for that because people are selling their homes, actually sometimes too quickly, but we're thankful to be able to sell them. I can remember back in the 80s when, if you all remember, interest rates were skyrocketing, and we were working with residents trying to sell their home for 6-12 months. We usually want them in within 3 months. We were still working because the housing market was so bad. So we can be very thankful that that housing market is good. And as well, the bottom on the far left, good access to capital markets. The stocks are doing wonderful. I keep waiting for the bottom to fall out, but I don't know, maybe not. But I'm not an investor, so don't go by what I say. It says what to watch in the middle column. Again, real estate, as long as real estate remains strong, that's good. COVID-19 operations continues to pressure us. The need for all these different things. They're seeing an increase in mergers and acquisitions on a rise with different organizations for whatever reason.
And then on the far right, there was concern because of COVID about people coming in and visiting. I can assure you that's not a problem here. I know Marty and Kim keep themselves busy with a lot of tours and showing people. And again, another part is we need to make sure we stay up to date on what they call digital things such as websites and social media, things like that, because with some people who are still concerned about COVID or not getting out, they are utilizing websites significantly. We see that on a regular basis. I think probably every week we probably get maybe 5 inquiries on our website for various facilities wanting to get information. One of the new things about websites, and I was just on with our website company on Friday, is websites now have to be what they call ADA. That means that certain backgrounds are not good for people to read, certain fonts are not good, and we have to make sure that our website will be adjustable to these people who might have different ADA issues with websites. In fact, it's going on so much. There are people out there going on community websites, seeing if they are ADA, and if they're not, they're coming in and suing them. So it's just what's going on these days because of concern with those that have disabilities. So let me just go back to my other slides. Now, I'm going to stop and open it for questions. Okay, so some of these things I'm going to skip through some things, but you know what our operating loss was. Talk about staffing needs, wage war. Benevolent gifts this year, we're thankful we got in 363,000 in benevolent gifts. Thanks to all those that continue to provide that. We invested back 1.6 million back into our campus through buildings, through equipment, and so on and so forth. That's somewhat typical of what we try to do. Competition again with all the county community, we need to stay as updated as possible. And then capital campaign, we received almost $300,000 for our capital campaign. We have only about 127,000 left on our $2 million capital campaign program that we were doing. And we have 13 months left to get that. And so I'm hoping that the new person coming in will put an emphasis to finish that off well and be able to take care of what we were looking for as far as capital campaign. And again, thanks to so many of you probably here in this room for your help and participation on that. The board, this past July, went through a strategic planning. With all the building that we did, which was part of the last strategic plan, they embarked on what we need to do to continue to look at moving forward as a community. And so these were 5 areas that, after a lot of discussion, determined were the areas of focus. I'm just going to share quickly about just a small sentence about each one, just so you know what it's talking about. One of the other things they did as well is they reviewed our mission, vision, and values, and just made a few small changes to enhance and more honoring the Lord through our ministry here. So the corporation board development was to identify, encourage, and prepare individuals to effectively participate in our governing body. That's our corporation, that's our board members, and very thankful for the engagement of our board that's going on. One of the things that I think they were all surprised emailed them out on Friday in reviewing all the mandate from the federal government. Even board members have to be either fully vaccinated or have an exemption in order to serve, which to me is very outstretching for the amount of time they actually spend here at Calvary Homes. But that's federal government for you. And I won't say anything more. Leadership transition succession, basically to attract and develop committed leaders who ensure the integrity of the mission and vision of our future. That's as we look at all of our vice presidents and directors and how do we try to promote within and move forward as things maybe change along the way. So we'll be looking at that. There's one on workforce development, which says we will attract, retain, and develop value-aligned, competent team members for our workforce. And Linda Spoon, our new Vice President of Human Resources, has already jumped into that with a number of initiatives that she's moving forward. The next one is competitive advantage in marketing, and this says we will promote Calvary Homes as the foremost choice for individuals seeking a Christ-centered senior living experience. Again, we want to, that's how we want to stay. That's our culture of Calvary Homes, to honor the Lord through our ministry here. And how can we continue to do that? The strategic plan is a 3-year plan, so it goes through 2024. And then the next one is living experience. We will provide spiritual, social, emotional, physical, and intellectual opportunities for residents to thrive as they go through the transitions of life. And the last one is financial stability, sustainability, excuse me. We will be biblically stewards of God's resources to achieve and maintain a strong financial position for the sustainable future of Calvary Homes. So that's just to give you an idea as to what all the board has discussed and how we're moving forward, and most of that is upon the leadership of Calvary Homes, the working leadership of Calvary Homes. The board has some items that they also need to take care of. So with that, that is everything that I have. I have Dave. He's going to come up. Now we have a mic on a wire because our wireless is not working well, but he can reach all the way through the room. That he'll come to see what questions you might have. So if you want to raise your hand, let us know. Dave will hold the mic for you to be sure, but he'll hold the mic for you. So, one other thing I do need to mention, on the eGive, if you don't have access to a computer or if you would like some help with it, Kelly is more than happy to help you if you would like. She can get with you, get on the website, do what you would ask for, if you're not sure how to work that. So, questions? All the way in the back, Coletta.
Are you doing anything to address inflation in like the heating of the main buildings and food prices that are going up?
Well, with the heating, I mean, we try to run those as efficiently as possible. But I will say with each individual resident, they can keep their place however they wish to. And quite frankly, there's probably some of us would walk in and we felt like we're in a sweatshop, and some of us walk in and we feel like we're walking in a freezer. But that's such an individual. Food costs, I mean, Diane tries to be as effective as she can in what she purchases. The thing that they probably strive even more for is to make sure that they are cooking enough, but not too much. And that's always a fine line. But of course, right now, with where we are, we know how many people are coming in for or getting their meals, whether it's healthcare, personal care, or those that are on our meal plans in the apartments. Dave, do you have anything else you wanted to?
Well, I would say that certainly you and I have been, and you more than me, have worked out agreements for natural gas purchase as well as electric. We have contracts that we've negotiated, some of them are like for a 3-year period, so we actually, you can talk about that.
Yeah, so we use some vendors that help us to do, I'll say, bulk buying. Our contract for our natural gas was coming up this month. Early in the springtime of 2021, I contacted my person I work with and said, hey, Joe, it looks like our contract's coming up for natural gas. Can I renegotiate it now for November? And he said yes, and our price came down again. I'm very thankful we bought it when it was, very beneficial, because we're all hearing natural gas is supposed to be going up. We still have one more year on our electric contract. Again, that affects pretty much our main buildings here because all of the cottages are on their own, and of course the cottages are paying for their own. But for the main buildings here, that's what we've been doing for our energy costs, and thankfully it's been very effective for us. Okay?
The only other thing I would add is you might want to consider when you vote next time, inflation.
Other questions? Steve?
With regard to energy costs in cottages, can we get a rider on what you're doing? If you got our prices down?
Ours are commercial, sorry.
Do you have any suggestions for it?
Well, again, go on the PA Energy.
Price to compare, I think it is.
Yeah, price to compare website and see. Now, I'll give one caution on there, because I heard at one time one of our residents got really stung on this. Yeah. They went with a variable cost. Do not bill variable cost. They look good now, but with the way that they're projecting energy costs to go up, you're going to get stung on it. So if you can get a cost that lasts for a year, but hopefully you get a clause in there that there's, you know, if you get out of it, there's no penalty. That's what I would recommend you consider. So.
2 years would be better, or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years would be depending on the price. Yeah. Other questions? Okay. Richard?
Yes, I have a question on the healthcare end of it. I just brought it up this morning at our roundtable down in the cafe. What would happen if something health-wise happened to me during the night, and my wife is the only one there? Our cat Freddie can't help, but it would be totally on her. We know to call 911.
Right.
Is there any other avenue for a call to here for somebody to respond, because you don't know when that ambulance is going to come, and a heart attack is pretty bad.
Right. First of all, 911 is the fastest way. I have not heard, and thankfully, the ambulances are very responsive. What we could do is very minimal. What we do say is and this is in particular for, I'll say, a single person where there's somebody who can't open the doors, we'll get over there and make sure the door gets opened if we need to. But, you know, our personnel is not there to, I'll say, give medical advice. But again, 911 is still going to be faster than probably even what our staff could get out there, depending on what they're involved in, because they already have their own responsibilities. Majority of the time, in the middle of the night, as your scenario shows, there are not a lot of team members here. We're here to staff what we need to, but during the daytime, whereas, you know, maybe like Tiffany or a social worker or Tess, our personal care director, would be able to come over to help, that's not their main responsibility. So 911 is still the most important.
We also added Cathedral Hall to the directory.
Go ahead.
So this came up prior to, and we've added Chaplain Brown's name to the back of the directory. So if something would happen in the middle of the night, someone would pass away, or you need assistance and you don't have family there, Chaplain Brown has agreed that you may call him. So his cell number is on the back of the directory. If you need a copy of that, just let me know and I'll make sure you get that.
Oh, good. Trying to figure who we are. Sorry.
You can't recognize me.
Now that mask, this is not helping.
Yeah, hold on. I'll change my course of action.
It may not be my business, but I have been very concerned about your age and Dave's age. You're not planning on retiring, are you?
How old do you think I am?
I know you're both over 65, so.
Yes, we are. No comment at this time.
We want you to stay.
I understand that, yeah. Yeah. So.
In regards to the disclosure statement on page 1, Roman numeral 1 summary and the subpoint number 1 facility, it lists Calvary Fellowship's home's address. Now, many times business houses and organizations ask for us to give our complete address, and the address is 17601, but they ask for the last 4 digits. So it's 17601 dash, and there are 4 numbers that come after that. And I have seen several different addresses listed for Calvary Homes or Hamilton, or a person who lives in Hamilton. So what do you suggest that we use as the official Calvary Homes address?
Okay, when they ask you for it, we'll have to get the number. I don't remember what it is right now. Off the top of my mind, I thought it was like 7754, but that might be my home one. I don't know. But we'll publish it in there. Many times, at least when I get it personally, I just do 17601 because that's my zip code as well. If you want to put in the other 4, we'll make sure you know what that number is. Okay, we'll publish it in the minutes of the 4.
Thank you.
Okay? Doris, oh, come right. Oh, you got somebody over there? Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, we're good.
Sure. I feel like I'm out fishing tuna or something.
We'll get you, Doris.
In reference to the money of the benevolent fund, Cliff, does this include what the revenue from the thrift store?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Your question was making sure the money that is earned through the thrift store, yeah, that goes directly to the benevolent fund. Yes. Doris, right over here.
A Calvary Homes resident is released from the hospital but needs to have a continuing nursing care in a facility. Our facility is full, so they are put into another location. At some point, if there is space back in our nursing center, can they then come from where they are back into our situation?
Absolutely. That's our goal all the time. We are in a very different situation right now. To be running 100% full as we are does not happen often, but all of a sudden it did, and we had a number of residents that needed medical care of some type from another nursing home. What we strive to do is to try to help find a good nursing home, and I'm not going to define good or bad because I don't want to taint. I think people know what's good and what's not good, but in working with another facility, quite frankly, we have a couple of residents that are at Fairmount Home right now. It's not where we want them to be, but when we get some openings to be able to bring them back, we will do that. Yes. Lois, all the way in the back.
I just have a simple question. On page 1, 3 times I see Calvary, 4 times, Calvary Fellowship Homes. But up there on the logo, it's Calvary Homes. When do we stop using the fellowship?
Whenever we feel like it. No. Okay, so our legal name is technically Calvary Fellowship Homes Incorporated, okay? For documents, we need to use Calvary Fellowship Homes. For branding purposes, it's a whole lot easier to say Calvary Homes and people know we're Calvary Homes, okay? So our receptionists, it's much easier to say, hi, this is Calvary Homes, how can I help you? So that's what we've done. And so our website shows Calvary Homes, many, many things that where we can is Calvary Homes. But where we need to use it properly is Calvary Fellowship Homes. Okay. Robbie?
I was wondering what's going to happen to the area in the front of the building where all the trees were cut down.
Okay, there will be plantings that will be put there in the springtime.
Trees or flowers?
Both.
Some shrubs, some trees, some flowers.
Right.
I think there were, well, in a couple of the islands, not that big section, there were a couple
How about a row of red maples?
annuals put in. Well, we'll take it under consideration. She wants red maples.
Oh, red maples, okay.
Red maples, okay, we got a couple of supporters. White birch.
Hey, Jim.
Tiffany and I have talked many times about nursing homes versus retirement homes in the sense of when you look at your chart, full pay in your nursing, Medicare, and then Medicaid, and they're all three different. And when you look percentage-wise at what Calvary Homes is for Medicaid, and we're losing $125 per day per resident. And what it does to the bottom line, because we're not fully compensated, I'm still mystified how places, and I'll say like Conestoga View, Pleasant Acres in York, which used to both be county homes, some of these other places that probably their percentages are very high on the Medicaid. What's the secret that they're able to stay in business?
Well, I wouldn't call it a secret, but what I would call it is different staffing. Okay?
Well,
different staffing. So
that would be my next question,
okay.
Because if they're hiring people and we're in a tight money market, what people are demanding to get paid, are they just not having people there to take care of them?
I don't know for sure, but what I can tell you is that, okay, so for us, we staff one person for every 8 residents. That's typically what I'll call our ratio. I would venture to say, but I can't say I know exactly, but I've heard a few team members who have come from a Conestoga View or someplace else, that they may have 1 employee to 12 to 15 during the daytime, because that's we get the averages, and maybe 1 in 18. Now, how does that equate? You tell me how that equates to quality care. It doesn't to me, and that's what everybody wants is quality care. So you can't do it with staffing that I'll say some of the other facilities are doing to give that quality care. It costs more though.
And the point is, who regulates that rate per day that you're covered? Who's supposed to represent us? Our senators and our representatives, whether it's state or federal, I won't use the word, but you know what I'm thinking, they basically don't care.
Well,
they're drawing a big salary down, and that's all they care about. And yet we're supposed to be sensitive for our fellow man, and yet these people are, like you're saying, you've got 15, 18 people being taken care of by one person. That's not right. Who's responsible for that?
The state surveyors watch over that, but in the information we send in on a regular basis shows what it is. We are always over what the staffing level is. They may be right at it, but, I don't know because I'm not part of it.
And the thing is, because Bobby and I went through it, as far as the state, if you call the state in, they might not see that particular place for 2-3 months, and all kind of stuff goes on, particularly during COVID. And again, who's finally and is responsible? It's our government, our representatives, our senators, making sure the pay is right, the staffing's right. They just don't care. Now, if you live in a place like Calvary, where you do have people who care, fine, but what about the people that have to live in places like that? That's not what our Lord said.
Understand.
And so my thing is, these places, what's the secret? And somehow they seem to stay in business. Now, COVID has shown a couple of places, particularly in Florida, that the government did step in, but it was so terribly bad. But I'm concerned that, like local, I mean, it just doesn't make, what's the secret? How are they keeping the bills paid? And yet, when you're losing $125 per day per patient, I mean, that's a chunk.
Yep. I mean, to me, it's my responsibility to manage that. And I think it's anybody's owner or president or whatever to be responsible doing the right thing. I don't know how they do it, and I have enough to worry about here, let alone what's going on. And I just talked to our government officials saying, this is where we are as an organization, and we need your help. And they're elected by people, and they get other people saying, I need this help too. They set their priorities. We try to push our priorities. That's the political environment we're in, I think.
Yeah, we're in a terrible political environment.
Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you found it beneficial. If there's any questions you have, please feel free to let me know. Kelly did let me know that the 4-digit is 4499. If you're looking for the last 4 digits of the zip code, 4499. Thanks. Have a wonderful day.
We've always been 4406. Is that now changed?
We looked it up.
I'll double check when I get into my computer, but I went on to I'll look it up again. I'll put it in the notes. Well, I'm going to the web, the website.
I'm going to put it on that. Not when I'm sitting.
But I'll double check. I'm going to go down and use my computer.
This is the regular spring fling meeting this afternoon. I had forgotten about it. What time is it? 1 o'clock at
In the conference room.
where we met the other time. Okay, that'll work. Thank you.
You're assuming that when I get up, I'm just going to walk around. I look back and when you get up, then your name goes. He didn't go to all.
That's because he was projecting.
That's right, and that's the point. The point is, he had enough distance. He didn't have to for himself or us because of the distance. But we were seated in a place where there was nobody in front of us, nobody out here, nobody on the other side. And then you're going to make a big deal about it. You ought to think before you talk.
No,
You,
think you're still wrong.
well, I think you're worse.
Okay, whatever.
not whatever, you're wrong. You didn't understand our situation. And yet you opened your mouth and you said it and you're being hypercritical. It's not a good trade. Well, we were in this area where there was nobody in front of us, in here or on the other side.
About the video, this video.
No, you're going to be exposed anyhow. What are you talking about? Little droplets that when you talk, they will go out. There was nobody in this whole. That is not nice. Well, I hope you will.
Well, listen, if you're never around on Wednesday and you miss the video, let me know. I can get you a copy of it.
Kelly, just one quick question.
I'm gonna double check on that before I give you
Salary, home, address, and Hamilton. Are the very same thing, right?
correct. You're shopping on, you put Hamilton apartment number, whatever your apartment number is.
Now, like the postal service, they want my correct address, and I don't know what to tell them.
502 Elizabeth Drive.
17601, and you say.
Well, but you want to say Hamilton apartment number.
Yeah.
And then list that. Or you can just say apartment number.
17601.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check on this, because Dr. Creighton thought that it was a different number, so I'm gonna go down and check on it.
Okay, thank you so much,
Okay?
Kelly.
But yeah, always use your apartment number. 502 Elizabeth, but use your apartment.
I'll do that.
Okay? You're welcome. Yeah.
Fine, how you doing?
They were in the area and they visited Cathedral Crisis, they visited Daniel, and they came to visit on the solar glass, solar prize. And they were just there because I contribute everything to I just love it. Do you remember the days of Robert and Joyce? And I when I was praying for Robert, he already had eaten the burger. And they were gazers. Attention to me. Yeah, that was a sad thing. Yes, yes.
Hey, how are you? Question for you. The other week I tried to get an email, you never know that you were illegal.
About duck cleaning?
Yes,
Yeah, I should have, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to get price from them, that's fine. I'd be interested, before you go ahead with it, I'd be interested in what the price is, just because I want to compare it. We from time to time have we would have
Yes, I did. I supposed to made a free estimate, so I'm just trying to see. I'm having trouble. I know I've taken some tests for allergies. I'm having some trouble with stuff. So if something got cleaned out there, maybe it would make a difference. Maybe. Yeah.
Now, I've been wrong on one particular occasion that I know of. And most of the time when you have when they're happy clean, they don't get a whole lot out. But your filter is ahead of the stuff. Yeah. So the filter is filtering before it goes in. Theoretically.
Anyhow, I'll give a call.
That's fine, yeah.
I'll
Get a number and let me know.
I'll just say when I talk to them or when they come, I say, okay, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'll let you.
Very good.
Okay,
Very good. Thank you.
I heard Sarah, I was gonna say something.
Yeah. Well, he said he had a cold, so I was away from out of state, so I hope he knows
Okay.
questions.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
Congratulations on your job. Oh, well, thank you. I'll have to swing by sometime. Yeah, I have her on camera. My cousin, huh? She's, no, she's only, she's 12 weeks, so she's only 2 months. But, yeah, she is, she's not happy with me because I love her today. Yeah, well, I have her on Saturday, but I have her on video. I have a camera on her, but I had to clean her today. You hear her? She's crying. That's her. Yeah. She is a, what do you call it, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you? Lunchtime. But tomorrow she starts daycare, so she'll go to daycare. And Oscars. Well, she signed up for Oscars to do their puppy preschool, but they couldn't get her in this week, so I'm taking her to another place, for daycare. So where is that? It's right in Manheim. It's right near the Spooky Mill, so it's not far from my house. So I'll just drop her off on my way into work. But I was in the hospital for a week. I had a urinary tract infection that they couldn't accept. She's called a Pomsky. She's a miniature, mix between a Pomeranian and a Rose. So she'll only get a well, they do artificial insemination, so it's a breeder. So I was laying in the bed. Yeah, so she, waiting to get up. Not more than 30 pounds. Yeah, between 25 to 30 pounds.
Keep the nose covered.
And I didn't have to start until the very here she is sleeping on my lap. And they let me do it by myself. I was able to. Yeah, you're gonna teach her to be a real good cuddler. Yeah, she is. She hopped about. Well, she didn't hop on my bed. There she is on my bed. She sleeps in the shower. She is. She's I would. Blue eyes. I'm just, you know.